You don't get to rush this.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at video game characters that debuted after the year 2000 and drew near universal hatred from players. To be clear, we're not saying that we hate all these characters, but a whole lot of players sure do. Also, since some hatred is tied to story reasons, be on the lookout for spoilers.
History is written by the victors. Let's get to work.
Number 10. Resetti, Animal Crossing series. While some take issue with Tom Nook, he's nothing compared to Resetti. First appearing in the GameCube original, this mad mole would pop up whenever the player quit the game without saving. He'd then proceed to lecture you for minutes on in so you'd remember or even pretend to delete your town. These encounters always went on for far too long, and if you actually did lose something important, you already felt bad enough without this guy kicking you while you were down. Nintendo further trolled us by making him one of the most annoying trophies in Super Smash Bros. Thankfully, with the advent of autosaving, Resetti was barely in New Horizons. Number 9. The Adoring Fan. The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion.
You're the Grand Champion. I saw your fight against the Grey Prince. You're the best. Can I follow you around? I won't get in the way.
Even though he's your biggest admirer, players could not stand Oblivion's Adoring Fan. After reaching the status of Grand Champion in the arena of Imperial City, you gain enough fame to earn your very own Superfan. Something about his always smiling face rubbed everyone the wrong way, and his constant offers to shine your boots and worship the ground you walk on came off as pathetic.
Right here? All right then. You're the Grand Champion. Whatever you say.
That's actually quite fitting, as he's the only follower you can recruit who won't fight, instead running away until it's safe to come out. Useless and creepy, players found a myriad of ways to dispose of him. Of course, he'd simply respawn back at the arena to await his champion's instructions. Number 8. Fi, The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. The Legend of Zelda has had several hand-holdy companions, but Fi from Skyward Sword was the breaking point for many fans. A spirit created to aid Link on his journey, she's very robotic in both her demeanor and dialogue. While there were still some great moments with her, her characterization didn't leave room for much depth. However, what ticked players off the most wasn't her personality, but her tendency to interject with useless information. She would consistently compile percentages for how likely certain things were, entirely unnecessary in a fairly linear game. Many also grew tired of her telling them that their Wii batteries were running low. It's a good thing Nintendo scaled her back for the HD remaster. Number 7. Annabella Rossfield, Final Fantasy XVI.
Gentlemen, Rosaria thanks you for your indefatigable loyalty.
Thank you, Your Grace.
With so many characters across so many games, there's a lot to choose from in Final Fantasy, but Annabella from the 16th mainline entry makes a strong case for being the absolute worst. Completely manipulative and entirely selfish, Annabella does a lot in the opening act to make you dislike her.
You see more in him than the Phoenix did. He was rejected, Elwyn.
This includes extreme favoritism of her children, one of whom she enslaves, and betraying her entire kingdom. But over the course of the game, she only ever grows more hateable. She doesn't have an interesting cause or tragic backstory, she just thinks she deserves status and power. And boy did it feel good when she was proven wrong.
A leader's duty is not to protect his people. It is to protect the source of his sovereignty. The noble blood that runs in his family's veins. So long as this bloodline remains unbroken, what does it matter if a nation falls?
Number 6. The Calypso Twins, Borderlands 3.
Oh, you missed the show? Oh, right. But you're all like, what's up with those husks? Well, it's a thing I do. Check out the screens.
While players also weren't fond of Ava and her part in the story, it's hard to top the obnoxious big bads of Borderlands 3. Tyreen and Troy Calypso are looking for the Great Vault like many others, but they're a sad follow-up to the engaging Handsome Jack of Borderlands 2.
Let's do this!
Got it!
Always streaming their escapades to their legions of fans, they both try to outshine everyone around them. They only end up coming off as annoying tryhards though. Even their acts of villainy, which are extreme, only add to the player's hatred rather than make them captivating. Many players had issues with the third game's story, and the twins are at the center of most of it.
But hey, if that siren thing ever works out for you...
Number 5. Preston Garvey, Fallout 4.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable. Preston Garvey, Commonwealth Minuteman.
It's one thing to be annoying, another to be annoying and boring. Preston Garvey is a possible companion in Fallout 4 that many players just like to avoid altogether. The reason many people don't like him is because he assigns several Radiant quests each time you talk to him.
That's why I'm talking to you. I can't rebuild the Minutemen, but I think you can.
These involve helping settlements, but there's an infinite amount of them due to randomly generated elements. If you don't want to do this, the quests just sit unfilled in your menu. On top of constantly assigning never-ending quests that we don't want, this is basically Preston's entire personality. He's simply a Minuteman and is as dull as a piece of wood.
Well, it matters.
Number 4. Lieutenant General Shepard, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Boundaries shift, new players step in, but power always finds a place to rest its head.
Stabbing your allies in the back is a great way to earn the abhorrence of players everywhere. In one of the best Call of Duty campaigns, players had their hands full with terrorist Vladimir Makarov. Among the forces for good was Shepard, who led an elite team in direct opposition to the villain. But it was all a ploy to further his own plans in plunging everyone into World War III.
We got it, sir! Good. That's one less loose end.
This revelation came bitterly as both Ghost and player character Roach were killed by Shepard in a shocking twist. Call of Duty has a ton of villains, but it's unlikely any will surpass the wrath players feel for Shepard. Number 3. Ashley Graham, Resident Evil 4.
My name's Leon. I'm under the President's order to rescue you.
What? My father?
Thankfully, Capcom made Ashley much less annoying in the 2023 remake, but the level of hatred players felt for her in the original Resident Evil 4 was so intense that it persisted for nearly 2 decades. The plot revolves around Leon Kennedy traveling to Spain to rescue the president's daughter before she can be infected with a parasite and set free in the US. The premise makes you aware she'll be a giant escort mission, and yet it's still surprising how much of a pain she is. We already had terrifying undead to fight against, and every time she got picked up and screeched, "Leon, help!" it was like nails on a chalkboard. It's a good thing the rest of the game is so fantastic.
No way, Leon.
Way?
Number 2. Micah Bell, Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm sorry, but we're family now, Arthur. You and me. Sons of Dutch. Makes us brothers.
Rockstar has perfected their craft in making hateable characters, and Micah Bell is their masterpiece. In a world full of outlaws, murderers, cannibals, and more, Micah still manages to outshine them all.
All you do is complain when things don't work out. Except when it's your goddamn fault.
You don't know what you're talking about.
He's a member of the same gang as the protagonist, Arthur, yet doesn't follow any sort of code and instead tries to be as vile as possible. Everything he does is in service of himself. He forces you to take on an entire town to rescue him and his precious revolvers, an act you end up regretting when it turns out he's a rat. Informing for the Pinkertons is his most damning action, but it was all a buildup of horrible we couldn't wait to enact vengeance against. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Abby Anderson, The Last of Us Part 2.
Joel Miller.
No matter how you feel about her, no video game character in recent memory drew as much vitriol as Abby. It began with leaks before the game was released. Among the elements spoiled was the fact that fan favorite Joel would be killed early on, and the players would eventually take control of his murderer, Abby. While the context of the larger story explained Abby's arguably justified motivation, many still hated her out of loyalty to Joel. The sequel's polarization was inescapable for months after launch, and while there were other complaints, Abby was by far the biggest one. Laura Bailey, the actress who played her, even received death threats. On top of being horrible, it goes to show how much hate Abby garnered.
We got a tip about a base, but there's no one here. We're looking for fireflies. I'm a firefly.
Which character from the 21st century do you utterly despise? Did they make the list? Share your thoughts in the comments and be sure to subscribe for more great gaming videos.
Why did you survive when the only one I truly cared for died?
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.